Good morning children, I welcome you all to today's video class. In today's video class, I am going to share my enriched ideas about the most important topic of grammar with each and every one of you. What is the topic today? We are going to discuss with finite and non-finite verbs. You know children, what is verb? Verb is an action word. It shows an action. It also shows the position and status of a person or thing. So verbs are classified into many types by the grammarians. Finite verbs, non-finite verbs, strong verbs, weak verbs, main verbs, auxiliary verbs. Further they are classified into many types. In today's class, we are going to take finite and non-finite verbs for discussion. So this classification of verbs, that is finite and non-finites, are done by the grammarians based on the structure and function performed by the verbs in a sentence. Okay children, first of all, you should be very clear in your mind that verb is an action word. It also shows the position and status of a person. Okay, fine. Then verbs are classified into finite and non-finite verbs. What do you mean by finite verbs? What do you mean by non-finite verbs? What is the structure of a finite and a non-finite verbs? I will explain everything one by one. Okay children, you carefully listen to me. First, what is finite verbs? There are some verbs in English. These verbs are very closely related to the subject of a sentence. There are some verbs in English, they are very closely related to the subject. So these verbs are called finite verbs. Why we call them as finite verbs? Because these verbs change their form according to the number and person. If the subject is singular, then the verb is also singular. If the subject is plural, then the verb is also plural. As all these verbs changes according to the number and person of the subject, they are called finite verbs. And more than that, they also shows the tenses. Another important significance of this finite verb is they show tenses. But non-finite verbs, they don't show the tenses. And they are governed by subject-verb agreement. That's very important. So all verbs which are closely related with the subject are called finite verbs. These finite verbs have singular as well as plural form. They must agree with the subject and they should agree with the person and the numbers of the subject, and they show the tenses. They are governed by the subject and verb agreement. Now I will give you the example children, which will make you to understand this concept clearly. See now, we just compare. Children, see the first one. His brother works in a school. So this is a sentence. This is a statement. His brother is a subject in the sentence. Works is the verb. The verb is in singular. The verb is in singular form. Because the subject, his brother, is also singular. Therefore, the verb should agree with the number of the subject. And more than that, his brother is in the third person. So third person singular always takes yes form of the verb, yes or es. So the verb should be in the singular form. Okay. Then see the next sentence, his brothers. Here the subject is plural. Therefore, the verb work is also in plural form. So a plural subject should agree with a plural verb. A singular subject should agree with a singular verbs. So a verb, these two verbs, work and works, they are called finite verbs. finite verb must agree with the subject. If the subject is singular, finite verb is also singular. If the subject is plural, finite verb is also plural. See, work. This is the V1 form of the verb. V1, all of you know well. If you add yes, then it becomes singular. You should know the difference, children. Don't confuse. If you add yes or es to the noun, it becomes plural. For example, chair. If you add yes, it becomes plural. But if you add yes or es to the verb, it becomes singular. That's important. You should know the difference. See the work. If you add yes, works is a singular form of a verb. Okay. So, the subject is singular, therefore the verb is singular. If the subject is plural, the verb is also plural. This is the first characteristics feature of a finite verb. Then, a finite verb shows tenses. For example, he works in a school. He works in a school. It shows the simple present tense. The tense form of the verb is simple present because he works. Okay, now I will write one more sentence. They worked in a school. They worked in a school last year. See the sentence. They subject, worked, V2, past form of the verb. Okay, so here the finite verb worked shows the tense. What is the tense form of the verb here? Past tense. So a finite verb agrees with the subject. Okay, it changes its form. When the subject is singular, it is in singular form. When the subject is plural, it takes plural form. It also shows the tenses. A finite verb shows two tenses, present and past. Okay, could you follow me, children? So, finite verbs have a definite relation. That's important. A finite verb have a subject. A finite verb have a definite relation with a subject. Both are very important. And finite verbs have yes and es ending. I will write it on the board. Then you can understand it easily. Forms of finite verbs. So, forms of finite verbs. Actually, finite verbs have yes or es form. Usually this yes or es form end indicates the time in the present, and they are used always with the third person singular. He, she, it. So they are called a third person singular. This yes or es form shows always the present form, present tense. They are used only with the third person singular. He, she, it. He writes. She writes. It writes. He runs. She runs. It runs. Suppose if we use the plural subject, then you have to change it in the plural form. That is base form V1. Work. Yes form. Works. And you have one more form, that is finite verbs having ed at the end. Second, ed at the end. It shows past tense. Very good, children. Could you follow me? It shows past tense. So, for example, engage, engaged, engage, engaged, celebrate, celebrate, celebrated. So we have base form, we have es form, we have ed form, or mere d or t. Okay, so they shows the past tense. They indicates time in the past. So finite verbs are used with the subject. They have a definite relation with the subject. All finite verbs have subject in the sentence. If the subject is singular, finite verb is also singular. If the subject is plural, finite verb is also plural. And second, what are the second feature of finite verb? It also shows the tenses. So when it shows tenses, it changes in its forms. Okay, so it shows the present tense, it shows the past tense. So these two important features of finite verbs should be taken into account. I will show you charts little later. Anyhow, these charts will help you to understand all the types of finite and non-finite verbs easily. Okay children, you have to be with me very carefully. You have to follow the things. Okay, finite and non-finite verbs. I will explain, then I will show you these charts. See verbs. So general classification. Verbs, general classification. Here is a chart. I will show you this chart. How verbs are classified by the grammarians. See the verbs. Verbs, finite verbs and non-finite verbs. This is a general classification. Verbs are classified into many types by the grammarians. Some classifications are done based on the function. Some classifications are done based on the structure of the verbs and the forms of the verbs. Here this classification, that is finite and non-finite, this classification of the verb is done based on the function of the verbs in a sentence as well as its forms. How these verbs changes in its form. So verbs are classified into two types, finite and non-finite. Could you see this chart clearly children? So this classification is done based on the form and the function of the verbs in a sentence. Okay, let me sum up. What is finite verb? Finite verb is a verb that must agree with the subject. Finite verb has a definite subject. Finite verb has a definite relation with the subject. Finite verb changes its form. It changes its form so as to be equal with the number and form of the subject. If the subject changes, verb also changes in its form. So a finite verb must agree with the number and form of the subject. And another important feature of the finite verb is it shows the tenses. And it shows two important simple tenses, present and past. Okay, so these are all the structure and forms of the finite verb. Shall we go to the next one? Non-finite verbs. What do you mean by non-finite verbs? Let me explain. And what are the kinds of non-finite verbs? Non-finite verbs are some special verbs. See, what is non-finite verbs? These non-finite verbs are three in types. They don't agree with the subject. They don't show the tenses. So non-finite verbs, they have their own forms. They don't have. What are the verbs? See, they don't have any subject. Non-finite verbs, they don't have any subject. Good. They don't change its forms. Whatever may be the subject may be singular, the subject may be plural, but the non-finite verbs remain constant. It doesn't changes according to the number and persons of the subject, because it has no relation with the subject. See, they don't have any subject. They don't change its form. They don't have any relation with the subject. They don't have any relation with the subject. So, and another important feature, they don't show tenses. They don't show tenses. So these are all the general features of non-finite verbs. Finite verbs have subjects, but non-finite verbs, they don't have subject. Finite verbs are closely related with the subject, but non-finite verbs, they are not related with the subject. They don't have any relation with the subject. And finite verbs changes in its form according to the changes of the number and persons of the subject, but non-finite verbs, they never changes in its forms. Finite verbs shows the tenses, but non-finite verbs, they don't show the tenses. So these are the general important features of the non-finite verbs. You should know all these things. Okay children, next, what are all the types of non-finite verbs? Non-finite verbs are three in types. They are, I will show you, non-finite verbs are three in types. They are infinitives, gerund and participles. I will explain one by one. Non-finite verbs are three in types. What are those three types? They are infinitives, yes, gerund and then participles. Okay, I will explain one by one. What is infinitive verbs? What are the functions of infinitives? I will explain one by one with good examples. First of all, you should know the types of non-finite verbs. Non-finite verbs are three in types. Non-finite verbs, they are three. First one, infinitive, and then second, gerund, and then third, participles. You can change this order, nothing is wrong. Infinitives, gerund and then participles. So they are called non-finite verbs. They are the types of non-finite verbs. Okay. These participles are further classified into three types. Do you know that, children? This is present participle. This is present participle. Then this is past participle. Past participle, then perfect participle. Perfect participle. So, participles are three in types: present participle, past participle and perfect participles. So, altogether, we have these types of non-finite verbs: infinitive, gerund and participles. I will explain one by one. See, non-finite, see the chart. See, non-finite verbs. Non-finite verbs, see, infinitives and then gerund and then participles. So this chart shows you clearly what are all the kinds of non-finite verbs. Non-finite verbs are three in types. See, infinitives. Could you see the chart clearly, children? Yeah. Second, gerund. And then third, participles. Okay. So non-finite verbs are three in kind, three in types: infinitives, yes, gerund, yes, then participle. Okay, fine. Now I will explain what is infinite. Before to that, I will give you 4 sentences. From the sentences, from the structure of the sentences, you can easily identify whether the verb is finite or non-finite. You are capable. You can do it, children. Let me write all the sentences on the board. Now, I will write such sentences on the board. See, 4 sentences I am going to write on the board. You have to watch all the sentences carefully. The boy is swimming. Okay. The boy is swimming. I read while I am writing, children, so you can easily follow me. The boy is swimming. Second, the boy wants to swim. Second sentence. Third sentence, I found the boy swimming. I found the boy swimming. Fourth one, swimming is good for health. Swimming is good for health. Okay children, now you compare all these 4 sentences. See, in the first sentence what I have written, the boy is swimming. Here the is swimming is a finite verb. Suppose because the boy subject is singular, so the verb is also singular. Suppose if we use the subject plural, the boys, then the verb also changes, are swimming. Okay, so in the first sentence the verb is said to be in the finite forms. You just go through the second sentence. The boy wants to swim. Here see, swim, this is a finite verb. To swim is a non-finite verb. Here the subject may be the boy, subject may be the boys, group of boys. The subject may be singular, the subject may be plural, but the form to swim will not change. So it has no subject. To swim has no subject. Okay, the verb wants, this subject, the boy is the subject for the verb wants only, not to swim. So whether the subject is singular or whether the subject is plural, the form to swim will not change. Therefore the verb to swim is non-finite verb. Could you follow me children? Yeah, good. Third, I found the boy swimming. Here see the verb swimming, V plus ing, V1 plus ing. So I found the boy swimming. Here it has no one-to-one subject. It has no relation. Here the boy is not the subject. Don't misunderstand children. Don't get confused. The boy is an object. Here the boy is an object. Okay, fine. So the verb swimming, verb plus ing, it is a gerund. It's a non-finite verbs. Whether the subject may be I, first person, subject may be the second person, the subject may be third person, the subject may be singular, the subject may be plural, but the verb does not change in its form because they are non-finite verbs. Okay, let's come to the fourth one. Swimming is good for health. Swimming is good for health. Here, swimming, here it is a subject. See, but here it is used as a gerund. Here it is a participle, it is a gerund. This is called a verbal noun. It becomes as a subject. Okay, it does a function of a noun as well as a function of a verb. Therefore, they are called a gerund. So, all these to swim, swimming participle, swimming, this is a gerund. All these 3 verbs are called a non-finite verbs because they don't have any subject in the sentence. They don't change its form when subject changes in the form. Whether the subject is singular, whether the subject is plural, whether the subject is first person, second person or third person, the non-finite verbs remain constant, they don't change. They don't show the tenses also. That's very important. See, to swim, what is the tense form? You cannot just say the tense form. Here swimming also, this verb swimming doesn't show you the tense. Here also. So now I hope all of you could understand the difference between finite and non-finite verbs. Let me recall, let me sum up. Finite verb has a subject. Non-finite verb, they don't have a subject. Finite verb changes its form according to the changes in the number and persons of the subject. But non-finite verbs, they don't change in its form. And finite verb have close relation or closely related with the subject. But non-finite verbs, they are not related with the subject. Finite verbs shows tenses, but non-finite verbs, they don't show the tenses. Okay, fine. And non-finite verbs are 3 types: infinitives, gerund and participles. Already I showed you the chart also. Now let me explain what is infinitive. What are all the types of infinitives? What are all the uses of infinitives? How it is to be used in the written and spoken form. Let me explain one by one. Okay, children? Very nice. See, past infinitives. Yeah, infinitives. So let me give you a brief definition. What is infinitive? Okay, what is finite verbs? The same way, what is infinitive? To start with this infinitive, infinitive is the base form of a verb. The infinitive is the base form of the verb. It is usually preceded by to. See, it is the base form of the verb. Infinite is the base form of the verb. Usually it is preceded by to. Okay, example, to eat, to swim, to write, to run, to see. You can give a lot of examples. So the infinitive is the base form of the verb. And one more example, one more thing to be noted is, it is used with or without to. Suppose the infinitive with to is called to infinitive. The infinitive without to is called bare infinitive. See, to infinitive and then bare infinitive. You should know the difference, children. Infinitive. Okay. Suppose if we use the V1 with to, then it is called to infinitive. If we use the B1 base form of the verb without to, then it is called bare infinitive. So to infinitive and bare infinitive. You should know where we can use this bare infinitive. You should know where we can use this to infinitive. I will explain. So now, just to recollect the definition, just to remember, recall, what is infinitive? What are infinitives? It's the base form of the verb preceded by to. So the base form of the verb used with to or preceded by to is called infinitives. These infinitives, why we call them? Because it doesn't give any proper or completed meaning. Therefore, we call them as infinitives. Infinitive means not completed. So the sense of the verb looks like. Therefore, we call them as infinitives. See, where we can use these infinitives, I will explain one by one with good examples. So one more thing, children, you have to understand. See, eat base form, to eat, swim, to swim, write, to write, run, to run. So now the B1 is preceded by to, therefore they are all called infinitives. So if you use to with B1, then it is called to infinitive. If you use base form without to, then it is called a bare infinitive. Okay, children, could you find the difference? Yeah, nice. Now, it is used to uses of to infinitive. Uses of to infinitive, where we can use this infinitive. First one, after the verb. So the first one, the first use is after the verb. This to infinitive is used after the verb. For example, I want to go. I want to go. Okay, to go is infinitive. Then he hopes. Another example, he hopes to get a first class. He hopes to get a first class. See these two examples. So after the main verbs, after the finite verbs, we use these two infinitives. I want to go and he hopes to get a first class. It began to rain, past tense. It began to rain. So in all these examples, you can find these two infinitives are used after the main verbs. Okay, so after the main verbs, these two infinitives are used. And the second use, there may be an object. Sometimes there may be an object between the verb and the two infinitives. For example, second use, after the object. Second use of this infinitives, after the object. I asked him. I asked him to come. My teacher asked me to solve the sum. They invited me to attend the party. One more example. They invited me to attend the party. You see the example very clearly, children? Notice it carefully. I asked him to come. So I subject, asked verb. I asked whom, him object, to come, say infinitives. So we may have this two infinitive after object also. Here we have two infinitive after finite verb. Here we have two infinitive after object. Okay, fine. They invited me. Here they subject, invited verb, me object. Then after this object we have to attend the party. Infinitive. Okay, fine. Then third use. The two infinitive can also be used to express some purpose. So to express some purpose also, we can use these two infinitives, third use. To express purpose. To express purpose also, we can use this two infinitive. I have come. I have come to see my aunt. I have come to attend the class. You can say, why do you come to school? We come to school to attend the class. So some purpose. So this two infinitive can also be used to express purpose. They run. See, they run to help her. So if you go through these two examples, you could understand that two infinitive is used to express purpose. Okay. Then what are all the other uses? The two infinitive could be the subject of the verbs be, seem, appear. See, sometimes the two infinitive can be the subject of some special verbs. Fourth, can be the subject of some special verbs. Some special verbs. See, to err is human and to forgive is divine. And to forgive is divine. So normally you come across these types of sentences in your day-to-day life. In all these sentences, to infinitive is used as a subject. Okay. So to err is a human. Mostly after the be verbs, seems, appear. So some special verbs. Seems, appear. After all these verbs, you may have this to infinitive as a subject. Okay, fine. Then this to infinitive is often used after adjectives. There it expresses emotion or desire. I will give you a list of adjectives. After such adjectives also we can use these two infinitives. See, this to infinitive is used after adjective. is used after adjectives. Normally these adjectives expresses the emotion and desire. So when we use such types of adjectives, after such adjectives we use these two infinitives: glad, happy, pleased, delighted, afraid, surprised, sad, willing, unwilling, and then easy, difficult, hard, impossible, sure, certain. I will enlist children, you just, if you want, kindly you note it down in your classwork note. It will help you. Glad, then happy, pleased, delighted, and then afraid, surprised, sad, willing. He is willing to come, he is willing to attend the party, and then like, easy, difficult, hard, impossible, certain. So after all these adjectives, two infinitive is used. But all these adjectives are used to express emotion or desire. So after all these adjectives, we use these two infinitives. For example, I am very pleased to see you. See, glad, happy, pleased, delighted, afraid, surprised, sad, willing, like, easy, difficult, hard, impossible, certain. So after all these adjectives which expresses the emotions and the desire, we can use these infinitives. I'll give you one or two examples for to make this concept so easier for you to understand. I am very pleased to see you. I am very pleased to see. See this example. She was afraid to go alone. She was afraid to go alone. Okay. This book is easy to read. This book is easy to read. I hope these three examples will help you to understand this concept well. See, I am very pleased to see. He was afraid to go. After this, pleased is a participle adjective. Afraid is also an adjective. Easy is an adjective to read. So, two infinitive is used after some adjectives. Okay, fine. The infinitive without two known as bare infinitives. As I told you already, they are used after some special verbs. Will, would, shall, should, can, could, may, might. So after all such verbs, you can use this bare infinitives. And then the verbs feel, hear, see, watch, notice, listen can be used with the object and a bare infinitives. Okay, I'll give you some examples. So, bare infinitives are used, see, subject of the verb, as I told you, as an object of the verb, and then as a complement, as an object of a preposition, used as an adjective, used as an adverb. It is used to quality of a sentence. We used to infinitive without two. The barking dog, see, the barking dog made him run, like that. I made him go. Let them finish it. We heard her cry. In all these sentences, we use this infinitive after some special verbs. So these infinitives are used after some special verbs. That's very important. Interrogative pronouns also. See, two infinitives can also be used to, see, after some special verbs, the form of be can be followed by two infinitives, and I will give you some examples. Bare infinitives without two. So where we can use this bare infinitives. Tomorrow will be Sunday. Tomorrow will be Sunday. Here I used bare infinitives. You can go now. You can go now. And then you should work harder. You should work harder. So in all these three sentences, I used these two infinitives without two. That is bare infinitives. Okay. So after this can, after this will, after this should, we use this ga, work. They are called bare infinitives. So these bare infinitives are normally used after this can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, and must. And more than that, the verbs make and let. Some special verbs. I'll give you one or two examples. See, make, and then let. See, I made him give me the money back. I made him to do the works. I made him do the work. See, I made him come. I made him complete the work. I made him complete the work. Let me complete the work. Let me complete the work. In all these cases, when you use made and let, there also we use bare infinitives, that is infinitives without two. And then some verbs like feel, bear, see, watch, notice, listen can be used with the object but without two infinitives. See, I will give you the list of such verbs which can be used with the bare infinitives. Some verbs, these verbs are used normally with the bare infinitives. Verbs like feel, hear, see, then watch, notice, listen. Notice, listen. So these verbs, I have given here list of some verbs. We may have many verbs like this. You have to, when you read newspapers, when you read the storybooks, you can come across these types of verbs. At the time you have to note it down. So after these verbs, we can use bare infinitives. For example, we heard somebody open the door. We heard somebody open the door. We heard somebody open the door. I feel something touch. I feel something touch my feet. Something touch my feet. So in these two cases we use bare infinitives after these verbs. And more than that, last use of this, sometimes we can combine two sentences into one sentence. There we can use two plus adjectives plus two infinitives. Okay, how it is possible? Let me give you one or two examples to make you understand this concept well. Okay, fine. So we can combine two sentences using two plus adjective plus two. Another use of this two infinitive. So we can combine two sentences using two plus adjectives plus two infinitive. Plus two infinitive. For example, he is weak. He is too weak to lift the box. Here he is weak, one sentence. He cannot lift the box is another sentence. I combined these two sentences using this 2-2 model. TOO plus adjectives plus two infinitives. But one thing here to be noted, the later part is a kind of negative. When you combine two sentences using these 2 plus adjectives plus 2 infinitives, then the later part is a kind of a negative. Okay, then she is too young. See, the coffee is too hot to drink. Here the action expressed by the infinitive is not performed by the subject of the main verb. In such cases, for plus noun or pronoun can be placed before the infinite. See the example, listen to me very carefully, children. The coffee is too hot to drink. The action performed, the action indicated by the two infinite is not going to be done by the subject. Here subject is coffee. It is not going to be done by the subject. So when you have these types of sentences, when the action noted by two infinite is not done by the subject, there we have to introduce for plus noun or for plus pronoun. Very key point in grammar, children. You pay your good attention. The coffee is too hot to drink. So how can you change it? The coffee is too hot for us to drink. Okay. So the action indicated by the two infinitive is not going to be done by the subject. In such cases, we have to restructure the sentences by using this for plus noun or for plus pronoun. Okay, so far now we have seen the various uses of the two infinitives and bare infinitives also. So it can be used with the main verbs, it can be used with the subject, and then two infinitives can be used after verbs. It can be used after the object. It can be used after adjectives. It can be used after some special verbs. So it can be used to refer to the purpose also. Okay, children. Next, I will explain the gerund. What is gerund? Where we can use? What is the structure of the gerund? Then we can go for participle. Okay, fine. So, second important kind of the non-finite verb is gerund. The gerund. So the first one is to infinite. We have finished. Then second gerund. A gerund. What is gerund? A gerund is a ing form of a verb. First definition. Gerund is the ing form of a verb. Gerund is a ing form of a verb. It functions as a noun. Gerund is function as a noun. It functions as a noun. Therefore, we call this gerund as a verbal noun. In grammatical glossary, it is called a verbal noun. It functions as a verb. At the same time, it functions as a noun. Therefore, it is called a verbal noun. Okay. So, it is formed by adding ing to the base form of the verb. So, a gerund is the ing form of a verb that functions like a noun. It names an activity. Very important. It names an activity rather than a person or things. It names an activity. This gerund doesn't name the person or thing, but it names only an activity. That is the specialty of this gerund. Okay, I will give you example for this gerund. So gerund is ing form of a verb. It is used as a noun. Therefore, it is called a verbal noun. Yeah. Swimming is a good exercise. Swimming is a good exercise. So in this example, swimming is a subject, this is a gerund. So here it does the function of a noun. At the same time, it also indicates an action of swim. Okay. So it is function as a subject of a sentence and it is function as a noun. When something is used as a subject, then it might be the subject, it might be the noun, isn't it? Therefore, it is a verbal noun. So where we can use this gerund? What are the uses of a gerund? Uses. First one, it is used as a subject. See, this is the example. So here, it is used as a subject. Then it is used as an object. See, object. Can you give example? She likes singing. She likes singing. Here, she is a subject. Likes verb. She likes what? If you ask the question, then you will get the answer singing as an answer. So singing is an object. Okay. Then sometimes this gerund is used as a complement. Seeing is believing. I will do one thing, children. I will write all the sentences one by one on the board. Then you can easily understand. So once again, just to recall, gerund is the base form of the verb plus ing. It is used as a noun. It is used as a subject of a sentence. Therefore, it is also called the verbal noun. Okay, right. See the example. See, swimming is a good exercise. Swimming is a good exercise. Then she likes, second, she likes singing. She likes singing. Third, seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. Fourth, she is fond of singing. She is fond of singing. And then she is busy in cooking. She is busy in cooking. Now go through all these sentences. Swimming is a good exercise. In this sentence, swimming is a subject. Swimming is a gerund. It's a noun. So a gerund can be used as a subject of a sentence. Could you understand, children? Yeah. See the second example. She likes singing. She likes what? Then singing is an object. So you will get an answer. Direct object. So singing is an object. So a gerund can be used as a subject. A gerund can be used as an object. Seeing is believing. See? So it comes to complete the sentence. It comes after the be verbs. When a noun comes after the be verbs to complete the sentence, then it is called what? How it is called? Do you know that? Yeah. It is complement. So here, gerund is used as a complement. It's a complement. Then the fourth example, she is fond of singing. So, object of preposition. Of is a preposition. She is fond of what? Singing. So, it is the object of the preposition of. Therefore, it is called a prepositional object. Prepositional object. Prepositional object. So, a gerund. She is busy. Busy is an adjective. So, complement of adjective. She is busy in cooking. So, it comes to complement the adjectives. So, complement of adjective. Complement of adjective. So, children, now from this you can understand that gerund is a verb, base form of the verb plus ing. It is a verbal noun because it is used as a noun. And then what are all the functions or the uses of the gerund? It is used as a subject of a sentence. It is used as an object of a sentence. It is used as a complement of a sentence. And then it is used as a prepositional object. It is also used as a complement of an adjective. The gerund can also be used after verbs. Sometimes gerund can be used after verbs. See, I will give you the example for such things. Gerund can be used after verbs. She enjoyed shopping. She enjoyed shopping. After this verb enjoyed, it is used. He stopped talking. He stopped talking. So in this way, a gerund can be used. Okay, fine children. Next we are going to see the participles. What do you mean by participles? How it is used? Participles. Actually, participles like infinitive and gerund is formed from a verb. If you add ing to the base form of the verb, then what you get is called a participle. It is also a kind of a non-finite verb. The participle is a verbal adjective. So, it is one of the non-finite verb, and like it is formed from a verb. The participle is a verbal adjective. Participle is a verbal adjective. It is formed by adding ing to the base form of the verb. They function as a verb as well as an adjective. Therefore, it is called a verbal adjectives. You know that participles are three in types. They are present participles, past participles, and perfect participles. Participles are three: present participle, past participle, and then perfect participle. So participles are three in types: present participle, past participle, and perfect participle. Once again, participle like infinite and gerund, they are also got from the base form of the verb. They are also one of the non-finite verbs. They does all the function of a non-finite verbs. The participle does the function of an adjective. Therefore, they are called verbal adjectives. But gerund does the function of a noun. Therefore, it is called verbal noun. This is verbal adjectives. Participles are three in types: present participle, past participle, and perfect participle. I will give you examples for each one. Okay, what is present participle and where we can use this present participle? I will give you example for that. Present participle. Usually, this present participle is formed by adding ing to the base form of a verb. So, present participle always end in ing. Verb plus ing. Base form of the verb plus ing. So, in this way, present participle is formed. For example, swimming. For example, swimming, laughing, playing, laughing and playing. So they are present participles are formed by adding ing to the base form of the verb, that is V1. The present participle can function as an adjective and modify nouns in a sentence. Sometimes the present participle can function as an adjective. The winning athlete gets trophy, that is present participle. See, present participle is used to present the tenses: present progressive, past progressive, and future progressive. I'll give you the example for that. How this present participle is used, as I told you already, don't forget children. Present participle, like other participles, formed from the base form of the verb by adding ing to that. Present participle, yes, V plus ing. See, she is writing now. She is writing now. She was writing then. She will be writing. She will be writing her test tomorrow. So you just compare all these three sentences. She is writing is a present participle. Writing is the present participle. It indicates the present progressive tense. Verb plus ing. Was writing. It is also present participle. It indicates the past progressive tense. Will be writing, future progressive. So present continuous tense is formed with the help of present participle. Past progressive, past continuous tense is also formed with the help of present participle, and future participle, future continuous or future progressive. So in this way, present participle, verb plus ing, base form of the verb plus ing, it is used to form progressive tenses. That's very important. Present continuous tense, verb plus ing, is plus, are plus, am plus, verb plus ing. That is present continuous tense, the form for the present continuous tense. Then was plus was or were plus verb plus ing. It is called a past continuous tense. And then future continuous tense, will plus be plus verb plus ing. So to show the progressive continuous tenses, we have to use present participle. This present participle is obtained by adding ing to the base form of the verb. Okay children, next we are going to see the past participle, where we can use this past participle and how it is used. We will see one by one. And present participle, we see sometimes present participle is used as a verb. See, we saw boys playing cricket. I saw him swimming in the river. I saw him crossing the road. So present participle sometimes can be used as an adjective, for example. So here we use this present participle to show the progressive tenses. Sometimes this present participle is used as an adjective. How? I will give you the example. A rising sun. A rising sun is beautiful to see. A rising sun is beautiful to see. Here a rising sun is a present participle. Here it is used as an adjective. Okay. Barking dog seldom bite. Barking dog seldom bite. So in this example also, this barking dog is a present participle. It is used as an adjective. Sometimes this present participle is used as an object complement placed after an object. See how I saw the moon rising. Here it is object complement. Here it is used as an object complement. I saw the moon rising. He kept me waiting. He kept me waiting. He kept me waiting. See, be is an object. Waiting is an object complement. So, as a subject complement, sometimes after some special verbs, this present participle is also used. See, the lecture was interesting. How the lecture was interesting. See, here it is a subject complement. The long journey is tiring. The long journey is tiring. The long journey is tiring. The boy seems smiling. So, in this way, present participle, that is verb plus ing, is used to show the present progressive tense, past progressive tense and future progressive tense. Besides using to show the tenses, they are also used to show as an, they are used as an adjective in a sentence. A rising sun is beautiful to see. They are used as an object complement placed after the object. They are used as a subject complement after some special verbs. Very nice. Then past participle, where we can use this past participle, uses of past participle. Past participle, what do you mean by past participle? Past participle is the third form of the verb. third form is see, saw, see. Eat, ate, eaten. Go, went, gone. Okay, see, past participle. Third one. Before to explain these two things, I will show you here the charts I have brought here. You just to have a glance of all the charts, children. Participles, see the kinds. Present participle, past participle, and then perfect participle. I have taught you already present participle. Now I am going to teach you past participle. Then I will explain this perfect participle. Okay, so participles are three types: present participles, past participles, and perfect participles. Present participles are formed by adding ing to the base form of the verbs. Past participle, now I am going to explain. Then we will see perfect participles. Mostly how these participles are formed. Here is another chart. Present participle V4, that is ing, verb plus ing plus noun. Past participle V3 plus noun, and perfect participle V4 plus V3. So in this way we can form the present and well as the past participle. Now let me explain where we can use this past participle. See, past participle is the third form of the verb. Past participles are normally formed by adding ed, en, t, and then n. So normally past participles are formed, it's a third form of the verb. Past participle is the third form of the verb, that is called V3. Eat, ate, eaten. Go, went, gone. Work, worked. Okay, like that. So they denote actions that have been completed in the past. This past participle denote actions that have completed in the past. Use of past participle. Where we can use these past participles? First use, it is used as an adjective. This past participle is used as an adjective. Learned man will never talk much. See, learned man will never talk much. See, this learned man is a past participle. It is used as an adjective. A burned child is a proverb. A burned child. Actually, a burned child treads the fire. A burned child treads the fire. So it is a past participle used as an adjective. So past participle are formed by adding ed, en, a, t or n to the base form of the verb. They denote the action that have been completed in the past. A past participle used as an adjective. I have given here some example for that. Learned man will never talk much. A burnt child treads the fire. And then what are the other uses of this past participle? Yeah, one more use is there. It is used as an object complement. This past participle also used as an object complement. I found him tired. I found him tired. So object, I found him is an object. Tired is a past participle used as a object complement. As a subject complement, the man seems worried. The man seems worried. So seems, the man, subject complement. So what are the uses of now? What are the uses of this past participle? It is used it is used as a past as an adjective in a sentence. It denotes the action completed in the past. That is the use of the past participle. It is used as an adjective. I have given you two examples for to explain that concept. It is used as a subject complement. The man seems worried. Here worried is a subject complement because it comes to complete the sense. How was the man? Worried. And then it is used as an object complement. It comes to complete the sense. After the object it is used, therefore it is called a object complement. And then use of perfect participles. The last one, perfect participle. Perfect participles. Normally, the perfect participle is used to join two sentences when one action is immediately followed by the other. That is a cheap use of this perfect participle. We use this perfect participle, actually, see, the subject of both sentences is the same. Perfect participle is formed by using having plus past participle. Having plus past participle. Having plus past participle form of the verb. See, so the past participles are formed in this way. Perfect participle is formed by using having plus past participle form of the verb, and then it is used to join two sentences when one action is immediately followed by the other. For example, he did his work. This is one sentence. He left office. He left office. Now you have to join these two sentences, or you have to connect these two sentences. Join how? Having done, using the perfect participle. Having done his work. Having done his work, he left office. He left office. He saw his sister. He saw his sister. Full stop. He returned home. He returned home. Now you have to join these two sentences. Having seen his sister, he returned home. So participles are used as adjectives. They are called participle adjectives. So see the answer. Having seen his sister, he returned home. Okay children, now I hope you could understand well the finite and non-finite verbs. Finite verbs always associated with the subject, but non-finite verbs, they don't associate with the subject. They don't have any subject of itself, and they never changes in its forms. They never shows the tenses. So this is the basic idea you have to keep in your mind about the finite and non-finite verbs, and I have explained with the good examples. For to explain the concept, non-finite verbs are three types: infinitives, and where we have to use bare infinitives and two infinitives. Then gerund, where we can use the gerund, and then participles, present participle, past participle, and perfect participle. So I have given a very good explanation and very good examples for to explain all these things, and I hope all of you would follow me well and just make a note of it. And now and then, whenever you have a time to go through all these things, just learn it once again. And if you have any doubts, you can get it clarified, and you can find good exercises for all these things in your grammar book as well as workbook what we have supplied to you, and try to solve all the exercises given in this area, that is finite and non-finite verbs. Okay children, thank you for your patient listening. I hope you might have got very good ideas about this finite and non-finite verbs from today's video class. Thank you children. Have a nice day.